Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Be honest, you missed us. It's been a little while since it's been a Thirsty Thursday with Danny and Joe. You didn't get the ribaldry, which isn't even a word, but the great facts, the stories, the near truths, the mostly truths, the full truths, and nothing but the truths. So help me, whoever I'm supposed to put my hand on. Anyway, we're ready for another session. Should be fun. Joe's headed off to Austin, Texas here, and almost immediately. So we're getting this Thirsty Thursday in. We'll talk about a wide variety of things, maybe a little Austin. I've got great memories in Austin. I think I've actually told an Austin story before, yes, about Dolly from Austin. But I got a couple others. My wife and I went there on a sort of fairly regular basis for a few years. Haven't been there in a long time, though. So I'll be looking forward to a Austin report from Joe in a future Thirsty Thursday. And I'm sure it will be awesome, Austin, because that is indeed a fun place. What is it that Matthew McConaughey always, what's his tagline?
All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. And he is the mayor of Austin, sort of, the honorary mayor of Austin. So lots to deal with. And, of course, the mighty fact check will lead it off, and that comes your way next. Thirsty Thursdays, we're back.
Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Vision's goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300.
It's time now to get some great assistance on healthcare with Chad Beisel from NoNonsenseHealthcareNinja.com. And Chad, even your business's name would indicate that you have a real aggressive way and an important way to go after some health insurance for your clients.
What I've found out in the industry is just a lot of people are really confused. They don't know what plans are good, what their plans offer, how they cover. And so I've just taken the approach of being really educated on what options are available to clients and showing them all the options that are available and making sure they understand them so they can pick and choose what options are good for them.
And one thing that's really important, of course, is access to doctors and hospitals.
Absolutely. That's becoming a big issue for a lot of people. Some of the plans out there are going to restrict those clients to where they can and cannot go. So if you live just outside the Kansas City metro, some of the counties outside, you may not be able to go to some of the hospitals up here in the Kansas City area. So making sure that you have a plan that's got doctors and hospitals and places you want to go is really, really important today.
Learn more by visiting NoNonsenseHealthcareNinja.com and let Chad help you. I'm here with Tim Emerson, the owner of Emerson & Company. And Tim, give us an idea of the range of services that you provide from Emerson & Company.
At Emerson & Company, we do credit card processing, payroll services. We do bookkeeping, merchant accounts like point-of-sale systems.
What would you say differentiates you from other companies in the field, and what makes you special?
I think what makes us unique is that we're a small local business making regional decisions on companies. We create a profile for the business and then put it out to our different vendors in a very competitive environment and tailor those needs to the specific business, which usually ends up in a great fit or great result for the company.
And, of course, the idea is to save money, right?
Save money, and actually sometimes I'm surprised where actually a solution that may cost a little bit more ultimately does save money, but we're not conditioned to think like that sometimes.
Emerson & Company. Check them out at emerson-co.com or call them at 816-360-9092. Firsthand, I have enjoyed the benefits of the CBD products from Canaway. My back feels better and better these days as a major part of my routine are the pain-relieving salve and the pure gold oil. And recently, I had the pleasure of a treatment session using the Canaway CBD in conjunction with the Microlight 830 cold laser. The non-invasive treatment session worked wonders, and I could barely tell I was even being touched. TML 830 is the first 3B cold laser to get FDA approval, and in addition, the combination treatment with CBD is patent pending. The new smart laser is the only hands-free cold laser in the world and is used by athletic trainers, chiropractors, MDs, physical therapists, and veterinarians everywhere. You can learn more about all the great benefits from the complete line of Canaway CBD products by contacting my friend Sherry McCants at 515-208-6312. That's 515-208-6312 to get outstanding information about Canaway.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Be honest, you missed us. It's been a little while since it's been a Thirsty Thursday with Danny and Joe. You didn't get the ribaldry, which isn't even a word, but the great facts, the stories, the near truths, the mostly truths, the full truths, and nothing but the truths. So help me, whoever I'm supposed to put my hand on. Anyway, we're ready for another session. Should be fun. Joe's headed off to Austin, Texas here, and almost immediately. So we're getting this Thirsty Thursday in. We'll talk about a wide variety of things, maybe a little Austin. I've got great memories in Austin. I think I've actually told an Austin story before, yes, about Dolly from Austin. But I got a couple others. My wife and I went there on a sort of fairly regular basis for a few years. Haven't been there in a long time, though. So I'll be looking forward to a Austin report from Joe in a future Thirsty Thursday, and I'm sure it will be awesome, Austin, because that is indeed a fun place. What is it that Matthew McConaughey always, what's his tagline?
All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. And he is the mayor of Austin, sort of, the honorary mayor of Austin. So lots to deal with. And, of course, the Mighty Fact Check will lead it off, and that comes your way next. Thirsty Thursdays, we're back. All right, let her rip.
All right, Danny, we're back here with the fact check. We got some brewskis here.
We do.
You did not
and we got
introduce.
A story.
So we've got a Jack's Abbey Copper Legend here. Where's it from?
Oktoberfest. And you were struck when buying it. It is brewed in Framingham, Massachusetts.
Beep, beep, beep. Danny's hometown.
The ancestral home of Danny Klinkscale. I moved 5 times in the first 5 years of my life. And then I lived in Hopkinton, Massachusetts for 3 years. And then for the rest of my upbringing, I lived in Framingham, Massachusetts.
Framingham.
My dad
which is a city of...
Well, it's just under 100,000. Actually, it was the largest town in Massachusetts for a long time with a town government. And then it recently has become a city. So it was like, when I was growing up there, it was still 60, 70,000.
Wait a second. What's the difference?
Cities have a mayor, and a city council or something. A town is just like, I don't even know. There's a difference in the governance. When you're big, you should... There's a fact check.
Smell a fact check.
But I'm about 100% sure that's true.
All right. Well, speaking of fact checks,
but I don't think it's based on size, because like a city in Kansas that has 8,000 people but might be considered the county seat or whatever, that might be considered a city, and they'll have a mayor, whatever. But that, yes, you do smell a fact check.
Yes,
indeed.
for sure.
And Framingham was a lovely place to be raised, about 20 miles outside of Boston. And just to give you an indication of what Massachusetts and New England is like, or especially Massachusetts, it's an incredibly congested place. I mean, so if I drive from my house to Fenway Park, which is only maybe 18 miles away, I go through like 12 or 13 communities.
Yeah.
It's like
you're
boom,
not jumping on the
boom,
freeway.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Well, it's you do jump on the freeway.
Oh, I see.
But you take the Massachusetts Turnpike, but there's little town, but they're incredibly populated.
Yeah.
Stacked one upon the other, upon the other, upon the other. But it's a lovely place, and my wife and I often reference it because when you drive around Framingham, or many of these communities like Concord and Sudbury and places like that surround it, the back streets almost all are completely canopied with trees.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, it really is beautiful. And you never see the sunset, which is one thing that's nice here in Kansas. You see the sunsets. But it was a great place. And this is a quality brew from the hometown. This is good.
It's going down quick.
This is good. You do some talking so I can drink some more.
I'm 1 foot out the door on vacation, and these are tasting delicious.
Yeah.
We've got our 5th straight installment of a Wilt Chamberlain fact check here.
Really?
So you said that Wilt came back in around 2000 to
yeah,
KU.
I looked it up, and it was 98, right?
98. Yeah, look at you.
I felt pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yep.
Only 2 years off on that.
How many women do you think that Wilt went through in that weekend?
That night?
That weekend. I mean, he still was probably relatively spry, and I think there were drugs for that by then.
That's right. And we're probably, what are we doing there? We were figuring 2 a day or something like that. So.
But by the way, as a side note, I saw this the other day as I was, advertisements pop up on the interweb.
Uh-huh.
And so remember I've referred to the Billy D. Williams ad for
that's in the fact check.
It works every time. Which I don't know what. Well, I do know what it's supposed to mean, but it's nice, subtle. So anyway,
super subtle.
So this ad pops up, which is a good phrase for it. It was for Trojans, okay?
Okay.
The famous you're a famous brand. They're like Band-Aid or Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
It's Trojans.
Absolutely.
I mean, so
Kleenex.
So anyway, their slogan now. Get this. Their slogan now is right up there with the Colt 45.
Okay, let me hear it.
On any given night. You like that?
I think it's a real failure of the surveillance state of the advertisers in this country that they're serving you Trojan ads. I really think that whoever they're selling that to, listen, I got this profile of this guy, and we're going to sell him some ads.
Right.
Let's serve him some Trojan ads.
So what do you think what's your issue with this?
Well, it's probably a poorly served ad for you, I would say. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh, you mean for me?
Yeah, as a happily married man, maybe you're not the one to serve that ad to.
Right, and a man of a certain age with a bride of a certain age. Let's put it this way. Well, let's put it this way. I was raised in a different time and had an active life.
Social
life. Maybe twice. Maybe twice.
Moving on.
But it was unnecessary at certain and when I was really in my salad days.
What do you think about Wilt? I
think Wilt probably maybe twice.
So I looked up the North Dakota gambling laws rather than the South Dakota gambling laws. Okay, yes. So it was actually really interesting. First of all,
because I talked about the fact that I played $1 blackjack.
Correct. Yes.
In a bar.
First of all, gambling on horse racing is legal in North Dakota. Okay, both like betting on it that's happening elsewhere and happening elsewhere or happening in the state. And any place can have blackjack as long as all the proceeds go to charity. And so it's not like a state lottery. It's on the business that's hosting the blackjack to collect it for charity and send it off to charity.
But it still would be a good, inducement for people to go to a bar, for instance.
Well, and that's the point. And they know it. And in the article, it even talked about it. Like bars and restaurants can use it as an inducement to drive business. And so it's really brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
Like, why not allow that? As long as it's all going to charity, I mean, it's a great idea, right?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I think it is a wonderful idea, and it was wonderful to play as a radio announcer without flush pockets, $1 blackjack.
Well, and they said it's really taken off because of the oil boom up there.
Oh.
And so a lot of these guys, they go out to the rigs, and they come back and they're flush with cash. And
well, the thing is about blackjack is that if you're playing $5 a hand or whatever, I mean, you can lose 10 hands in a row, no sweat.
No problem.
And, and then, that...
Especially
I would have allotted if I was going gambling the most during most of my life until now when I'm just a multimillionaire would be 100.
Yeah.
And you could
that
burn
can be
that.
gone in 10 minutes.
That could be gone, and then you're like, oh no, I've had no fun.
You got some jackleg down on third base that's hitting on his 18 because he's got a feeling in his gut. Like, get out of here with this. Like, let's all get on the same page.
I went to Las Vegas as a very struggling radio announcer at one point. Nice gig, though. I mean, I was doing Washburn basketball and whatever, and the men's and women's team both played, and I was doing the games for both.
Back to back.
Both. And so they were in Las Vegas, but the tournaments were not concurrent, so I was there for a while. So anyway, I had a certain amount of money that I had set aside to gamble, and it wasn't much. So I went and played. First night I was there, I played poker. And I played poker with these people who were bad poker players, okay?
Oh, yeah, okay.
They were bad. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. Well, a lady who had sold a couple of homes that day, she's a realtor.
Oh, yeah, flush with cash.
A guy from Japan. I don't know if he'd ever even played poker before. So we're playing.
This is my kind of table.
Playing 7-card stud. But I mean, I ended up breaking even or close to it, but I got way down because, I mean, stuff like this was happening. We're playing 7-card stud, and I'm like losing with a straight.
Yeah.
And,
it's almost worse.
You're going to the end because you're straight. There's not even wild cards in this game. This is a surefire winning hand.
Yep.
And these people are just drawing out their ass, and
yeah.
So I'm down like $60, and I ended up. It's free drinks, and I ended up staying up all night to get it back.
Okay.
And I had a game the next day.
Oh, no.
And it was at like 1. And so, I saw the sun before I went to bed.
Oh, those are great
So
nights.
I get up and run and go to the game, and, I know they serve lunch there,
Okay.
So I get there, and I'm relying on the lunch. I get there, no lunch. So I was up all night. Now I had like an apple, and that's it. I must have drank 20 beers. Easy. And I'm telling you what, I literally had an anxiety attack during the game.
Wow,
I mean,
really?
I was drained of energy.
Yeah.
I started to sweat. It was like, Albert Brooks in broadcast news. But because no color man, no, it was just
you're
me.
all alone.
It was it. I came back from break. We started up. I'm like, oh boy. But I made it through. But anyway, that's my Vegas bad poker story.
Oh, dude,
but it wasn't really a bad beat because I did fight my way back to.
It's almost worse playing against people that don't know how to play poker, first of all. Because, yes, exactly. They're just chasing everything. I got a lot of good Vegas stories. I'm not sure I want to drop. One time we were out there with some friends. Actually, the friends were going to go to Austin and see. I'm flying out tomorrow to go to Austin. And we're going to stay with them, do some kayaking and stuff. And we went to Vegas with them, and we've been playing blackjack all weekend long, and we've just been getting just pounded by the house, right? And we stop into like Hard Rock or something, and we pull up to a table, and this lady's just white hot. We're just winning every single hand. And my wife likes to break even and then take those chips and put them in her purse.
Right.
And then just play with the profits, and then it makes her feel better about it, right?
Right.
I'm a bit of a gambler, so of course I'm letting it ride, right? And she's not looking at what I'm betting, and we're up hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I just keep making the bet bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is like a 250 max table. Suffice to say, she had to, like, the second the dealer stood up, because it was her turn to leave, all four of us stood up at the same time without planning it and looked at each other like, yep, time to go.
So you did.
Oh,
you
yeah.
did the good thing.
My wife raked the chips into her purse. And we go over there to the window, and she's pulling chips out. And I'm like, my God, how many, because she kept throwing them in her purse. And I'm like, is that all of them? And she's like, I think so. And your wife's got this giant bag, and she's rooting around in there, and she's a mom. There's Kleenexes and raisins. And she's like, yeah, that's it. And so I'm like, okay, go ahead and count it up. And then she's like, oh, wait, I found one more. She pulls it out. It's a $1,000 chip. Suffice to say, we paid for the whole vacation in 20 minutes of blackjack. It was amazing. It was We came home with money in our pocket. I've never come home from Vegas with money in my pocket except for that trip. It was fantastic.
That's nice.
Okay, I sent you a picture from the Chiefs game of the pickle chips.
Yes.
Right?
But you didn't, I don't think you, oh yeah, the little bags of pickle chips.
That's right.
But unfortunately, one of your friends found out that there was more brine in there than I had experienced.
So be careful, because my buddy Chip went to pour the pickles out of the bag and just soaked his shoe in pickle juice. Because
when I ate the pickle chips, they're designed for you to sort of open the bag at the top and then reach in and pull out the. And so I'm like, this is great. There's not much brine in there. I didn't think there was hardly any, but apparently there was a little more than, because I just eat them and then throw the bag out, and I never even knew.
Well, as a friend of the podcast, he was thinking there was not hardly anything in there.
Of course.
So he just went to pour them into his hand like you would potato chips. There maybe had been a few beers consumed by then.
So he didn't mind the pickle brine on his.
He was okay with it by the end of the tailgate. We'll talk a little bit more about my Chiefs experience maybe later. So we talked a little bit about the secondary ticket market last time. $15 billion in 2019. That was the revenue for the secondary ticket market.
Nice. Good work for them.
Yeah, I guess. It's awful. I told the Royal story about Game 7 and my tickets last time, and I just had my wife came up with a little fact check for myself.
Ooh.
Okay. So I had 4 tickets the whole playoff run, and the Royals, when we got to the World Series, even though I had 4 season tickets, knocked me down to 2. Even though I was in the Loge level. I was in the. I mean, they were good tickets, right?
You know, when you get to the World Series, there's a lot of tickets they give to. There's a lot of commitments for tickets that have nothing to do with either of the team's fan bases.
So they moved me into the upper tank, and they took 2 of my tickets away. Okay, and so I only had 2 tickets. So I had been taking one friend. And Game 6 or whatever, whichever the second to last game was, I was all the friends that I'd taken to all the games, right? Second to last game, I took my wife, and
which World Series was this?
This is the first one.
First one, yeah.
This is the Bumgarner one, 15, right?
14,
and super great with years. And so,
me too.
So I'd taken her the night before, and then I said she could have my seats,
right?
To take her friend, those 2 seats.
Yeah, you told us that story.
Yeah, but I had thought I had 4. So I ended up having to buy 3 because I gave my 2 away.
Right.
Anyway, so it was, I just had to get that correction because my wife was telling me that I got to get that straight. Okay, so we talked about the Chiefs Super Bowl championship rings that they gave the employees, right? And the taxes, that they would have to pay $11,000 taxes on them.
Mm-hmm.
So a coworker of mine, their husband is a jeweler, and somebody brought one of these rings in. Okay? Mm-hmm. And he says, now I don't know if this is true or not, but he says they're $11,000 rings. Not the taxes would be $11,000, right?
That made sense to me, because $11,000, even if you're paying 50%, which you shouldn't be on that level of, that would be a $22,000 ring. You know, or even if you're paying 50% taxes, and it shouldn't be 50% taxes on a $22,000 item.
If it's if it's 25 or 30.
What I thought is what my thought is, and maybe this is a fact check too. It would seem to me that they're not going to give the employees the exact same ring as the players.
And that's what he said.
Maybe sort of a smaller replica type.
That's what he said. He said that the diamonds were not real in it. But the other jewels were. So whatever else there is in there. I don't know.
But the players ones probably were.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
As if they
Listen, you put some cubic zirconia on Patrick Icicle's finger, I will come and have a word with you.
There you go. And you're not even his agent.
So our last fact check here is about old Billy D.
Oh, nice. I'm looking forward. Yeah, not like I wasn't looking forward to the other one. But Billy D.
So you talked about
it works every time.
Maybe Billy D was past his smooth operating days, is what you had surmised, right?
Yeah.
Well, Billy D's 83. Okay, he was born in 1937. So 83. That's like 10 years ago for you. So is he past
Hardy
his
F you on that one.
Is he past his smooth operating days, do you think?
Probably not in his own mind.
No. Billy D is cruising through the Kmart.
Well, by the way, it's a great connection for the last few days because Billy D, of course, played Gale Sayers in Brian's Song, the famous movie, and Gale Sayers passed away a few days ago.
Absolutely, that's a good.
Have you ever seen? You know, this was. I think it may have been the first television movie. You know, now it's a commonplace occurrence. Here's another fact check, but at least was one of the very. You know, that was not something that.
Are you talking about Brian's Song?
Yeah.
Okay. This was a TV movie.
It was a television movie, yes. And
I think they showed it to us at church camp or something.
And I think it might have been the first television, made for television movie, or at least it was early on.
Okay.
And I do remember watching it the first time it came on, and I did cry.
Good for you.
Right. So.
Well, speaking of Gale Sayers, we can talk a little bit about KU and the masterful job the football program is doing there in my old alma mater, your old alma mater.
Yes, indeed.
So I
texted the Kansas comment right now.
Yes, we could. I texted you mid-game. Oh. That game, I don't know, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
About Coastal Carolina.
Uh-huh. And you didn't really know at how it had gone. You hadn't caught up with the game yet, or I think you hadn't checked in on the game.
No, I hadn't checked in on the game. I was on one of my walkabouts, and I come back, and I turn the game on, and it's, late third quarter, and they're just scoring touchdowns like crazy, and I'm thinking, this must be this back and forth match. They're not looking terrible. I mean, they should be beating Coastal Carolina. But
so you probably saw KU score, Coastal score, KU score. Didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I saw KU score stop, and then KU score. They actually got one stop. And I don't remember what the stop was. Maybe it was a punt or something. I didn't know that Coastal Carolina was just running the clock out, Right. So I'm texting you like, what do you think about this, man? And you're just like,
28
crickets.
Zip at the start. 28 Ned.
What are they going to have to do at some point in that town?
The first thing they're going to have to do, which they haven't done, they never have a quarterback. Yeah. And in football today, you just, unless you cover every other base exceedingly well and have average play maybe from the quarterback, they haven't even had that. I mean, the reason they were down 28-0, a couple turnovers by the starting quarterback, they just haven't found a quarterback since Todd Reesing. And
by the way, the Reesing days, Mangino had a quarterback he had to turn into a wide receiver because he had Dose. And maybe Kerry Meyer wasn't Todd Reesing, but he had another quarterback on the roster that could have played D1 ball that went on to be an NFL wide receiver with the Falcons for like 5 years or something, I mean.
And he was a highly touted quarterback coming to KU.
Yeah. And so, I don't know, man. Like,
I was at the game, and we need to wrap up segment 1 here, but I was at the game where they blundered into finding Todd Reesing. They were getting killed. And they just said, well, I think they had already played maybe 2 quarterbacks in that game.
Yeah, they had.
And he just tossed the midget out there.
Yeah, and he went out there
and balled.
Balled.
And then so they're like, they didn't know what they had.
I still remember, and I think it was Mangino's first year, I was walking up to campus reading the UDK, and there was this little article about this quarterback they just signed that won all these state championships in Texas, but he was undersized and this and that. And I never forget that article because it's like it stuck out to me because I'm like, Texas 5A, I think it was 5A,
yeah,
2-time state champion. Like, how are we pulling this guy? And you read he's 5 whatever, It's like,
supposedly 5'10", listed at
guess.
5'10". He wasn't 5'10". He was shorter than me. And I'm 5'11".
But what in the world? Go find the 5'10" guy. Win in state. I mean, does that guy not exist anymore?
And now, actually, the bias against the short quarterback has passed. Yeah. So maybe that hurts, actually.
You know where that guy's playing? That guy's playing at Coastal Carolina. Okay?
They had 2 quarterbacks, and KU had none. So it's time to. Do you have any more Jack Sabbies?
2, Utah. 2.
2. Well, good deal. The Framingham Brew is up next, and so are we. More of Thirsty Thursdays.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Most of us have experienced auto accidents, and it's no fun. And even less fun is trying to work on the insurance aspects afterwards and getting full value after an auto accident. I'm here with David Cowan from WreckExpert.com. And David, you have an unusual and important niche for people after an auto accident.
We have a passion to teach car wreck clients what they deserve. Getting your car repaired only fixes the damage and the paint. Getting paid for your car's loss in value is called diminished value. Chances are you've never heard of this before because most people aren't looking out for you. We help people collect thousands to tens of thousands of dollars for their car's loss in value after the wreck.
And if somebody wants to come to you for that, what's the original assessment cost them?
We offer a free review of any insurance claim to see how we can help.
You can't beat that. Great expertise and assistance in getting full value after an auto accident. From David Cowan, visit WreckExpert.com and learn more.
Hi, everybody. This is Matt Llewellyn from 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. I just want to thank everybody for supporting local restaurants during this time of uncertainty. 23rd Street Brewery is now open until this pandemic is over. And right now, more than anything, local restaurants need your help and support. Come on out and see us. 23rd Street Brewery is open now from 11:30 till 9 o'clock for dine-in and carry-out. Whatever we can do to help you out, maybe with your catering needs, too. I appreciate all the support, and thank you for continuing to shop local.
Let's spend a minute with Dr. Brad Woodle, who, along with his wife, Dr. Christina Woodle, the owners of Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture, my home for chiropractic care. And first of all, just tell us about the wide range of services you offer.
Danny, we offer comprehensive chiropractic, acupuncture, physiotherapy, and rehab. We do a very thorough examination, x-rays on site as necessary, and we have a full rehabilitation department, so we can help out with exercises, stretches, different therapies for the complex, but also the very simple conditions we treat.
You have been deemed essential and have remained open all through this COVID-19 process. What are some of the things you've done to make sure that was the case?
From the very beginning, in March, we started to make sure that we were cleaning and sanitizing with EPA-registered sanitizing products. We also implemented masks way before the state required them. We implemented a parking lot waiting room, took out half of the chairs in our waiting room, and made sure to space out visits so we could appropriately meet, discuss, and also screen patients to make sure we were taking care of healthy people.
Find out more about Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture and how they can help you at ASFCA.com. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkScale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Well, that was it. It didn't smack as an opener, so a little soft on the KC Beer Company.
It's a fest.
A fest. There's nothing soft about that fest.
It's
that
their
is a
seasonal
quality. That is a quality brew.
It's so good.
The KC Beer Company. I watched the World Cup final when Germany won there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was a great event. Except that a guy that I knew, I had done a World Cup draft, and I think he had worked at one point for Sporting Kansas City, whatever. Very enthusiastic. So I knew him a little. I knew him a bit.
Okay,
not like well, And unfortunately, the event was really fun. I just went there by myself. I wanted Germany to win, and so I just wanted to go someplace where the people were going to be rooting for Germany.
Correct.
So it was all good, except this guy spilled an entire pitcher of beer right on somebody's back because it was wall to wall in there.
Uh-huh.
And the other part that was kind of annoying,
your back?
And I don't remember. I couldn't even name the person at this point in time. And if he recognizes this story and is mad at me, that's okay. The thing is, I'm there to watch the game, and he's supposed to be Mr. Soccer Enthusiast.
And it's just chat.
And it's just
chirp, 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 chirp. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And I'm like, it's the World Cup final here, and you're supposed to be rooting for Germany. I don't want to talk about everything under the sun.
Pay attention.
Watch the game.
Pay attention to the game.
And if he was paying attention, he wouldn't have spilled the pitcher of beer all over. I think it was a woman.
Maybe he was paying attention to the bottom of his glass a little too much.
Ruining her afternoon. That's the only thing I don't like about European soccer or the Premier League. And by the way, we need to I'm sorry. I am really mad about Peacock.
I know. I agree.
I am totally mad about that.
I decided I'm going to start watching the Premier League this year because we were going to talk about it and because, everybody watches the damn Premier League. Okay, fine. I'll squeeze in. I pick the team. It'll be Chelsea. Okay, got it. Right? I'm going to watch Pulisic, whatever.
I'm hoping it calms down because right now they're showing almost all the games on Peacock.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it's making me mad.
I have so damn many streaming services.
Right.
How many do I have? I have a Bleacher Report Live subscription because I used to have that to get the Bundesliga. And now it's like I don't even know why I have it. I don't even know how to cancel it. It's like
I might start watching the Bundesliga because there's going to be content on.
Well, check this out. You got to have ESPN Plus now. Because, I used to be able to turn on FS1 or FS2 and get myself some Dortmund. The game was on ESPN Plus.
Well, my issue isn't that, hey, old man doesn't know how to stream or whatever.
I mean, it kind of is.
I do that. And now we're into Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that other stuff. But most of my consumption of the Premier League is on Saturday and Sunday mornings while I'm doing a really long workout. It's great workout.
Yeah.
Content. Because once you, do the stretching, do the weights, and then once you get on the elliptical and you're grinding away,
locked in.
You can do at least a half, no commercials, no flipping. It's wonderful. But I'm not going to, even if we streamed in our regular area, on my crappy little TV in the basement where I work out, that is not happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put my laptop on the elliptical, So come on.
Look, I'm going to fix that streaming problem for you. But the whole thing is just put it on. Look. So one of the great things about the Bundesliga.
Just let me stop you for a second. At least do what they did before, which was that, there were generally part of the problem is that the Premier League has spread their games out a lot, and there's less games. It's almost like getting the NFL ticket now.
Yep.
Well, before they had the thing called NBC Gold or whatever.
Yep.
And they would show some prime games on NBCSN, which is great, and then one game per week on NBC. And then if you wanted to watch the other ones, you could get the Gold package.
Mm-hmm.
Put the Peacock on the Gold, please. And if you want to and if you're trying to sell the content, put one biggie on there per weekend or whatever.
Here's my problem is it's short-sighted, okay? I became a Bundesliga fan. One of the reasons is because I could get it really easily on Fox Sports, okay?
Right.
It was on all the dang time.
And repeated.
Often, right?
Yep.
I miss a game, I can set the DVR, I can go blackout on my phone, and I can watch a match. It is not time to take access away from Americans on international soccer. It is time to give it to them and get everybody on board.
Right, because if they're trying to build
build an audience,
maybe what they've decided, and I can't wait to get your thought on this, is that after however many years now, maybe it's been close to 10 years that the Premier League's been on NBCSN, they figured, what, we're just not getting to a bigger mainstream audience. So we've got a dedicated, loyal, smaller audience, and we're going to make them pay.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. They're like, we got what we're going to get. And so, anybody after this is willing to pay, But that is so short-sighted because, my kids are big soccer fans. Okay, so we're watching the Chiefs game last weekend, and there's an offsides call. Okay, and this might be a failure as a father, right? But with a 9 and 8-year-old, they're at that age where they're finally understanding the game and the rules, right?
Right.
They're both soccer players. There was an offsides call, and my daughter looked at the TV my 9-year-old looked at the TV very, you could tell she was concentrating pretty hard. And she says, Daddy, I just don't understand how you can be offsides on football. Nobody was even moving. And so I've explained offsides in soccer so many times to people.
Because offsides in soccer is a free-flowing event.
Exactly.
And also, you're really trying to fiddle with the margins so closely.
And in her mind, she's like, this doesn't make any sense. I see Tyreek Hill run behind the guys all the time, and,
Right.
Bicycles drops it in for him. How is he not offsides? Because in soccer, that would be offsides. He got behind him before he let go of the ball.
Right.
And so in her mind, it doesn't make any sense at all. And it was so like, it just showed me, because it's so much easier to get my kids to watch a soccer match with me. First of all, I'm not screaming at the TV like I do at Chiefs games, scaring them out of the room. But secondly, it's a shorter game. There's no commercials, right? They're locked in. I can at least get them to watch a half when they were little kids.
Right, and also if they're in it,
they're playing
they're
it.
not.
You know?
They're not. There's not 3-minute windows of no play.
Yeah.
You know, where they're distracted. Oh, when's the football coming back on?
Exactly. Beer commercial, right? And then they get distracted. So, I don't know, man. The whole thing irritates me with the Peacock thing. ESPN Plus has the Bundesliga now, and so I got to watch it on that. So I got another thing I got to put on my TV. It's just, but they got me. You know what? You know what? They succeeded because they got me. Because
I know I watched it. I watched the FA Cup final on ESPN Plus when Arsenal was playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, sitting there watching, I almost feel, I have to be honest, I almost feel odd watching a game on my computer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would much rather, and on a phone, I mean, that really seems
forget
weird.
about it. I put it on the TV. I got these little
and the
$20
quality of
smart
I'll say
TV
this,
apps.
the quality of the video on the phones is brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no issue with that. It's just small.
Well, and you just look like one of these idiots that stares at their phone. I mean, get out of here with this. Get out of here.
It's like the guy with the Bluetooth.
I don't want any part of that.
Actually, I'll tell you a fun celebrity call out
Bluetooth story.
Right. When Bluetooth really sort of, it was just when a few people were Bluetoothing, So we go, I'm covering the NCAA tournament, covering the Final Four. Maybe it was the regional final. I don't remember. But anyway, so I'm covering it probably whenever the Bluetooth would have started to become kind of big. So we're in the gym. A bunch of us are working out, and there's a lot of media people there.
Okay.
And so
you're at the Marriott.
Yeah, we're at and it's nice. I mean, those media hotels are nice. So Jay Billis is there, or whatever. Whoever you want to pick out is there, and who's there also on the treadmill? Andy Katz. And he's got the Bluetooth. And he's talking out loud. Oh, Dick. He's talking to Dick Vitale or whatever.
Okay.
Or Coach K. He's just blah, blah, blah. And we're like, shut up.
Dude.
Shut up. We don't want to hear it. Work out. And it was so clear that a big part of what he was doing was
look at who I'm talking to.
I'm Andy Katz on that. So there's my Bluetooth story.
So you're a big fan of...
I'm not. I've met Andy Katz subsequently. Seems like a nice enough guy, but that was pure Bluetooth showboating.
I had a friend that came to one of our Christmas parties in maybe like 05, 06, and he purposely dressed like a total douchebag, right? And then he puts on this fake Bluetooth headset, and he'd walk up to you and he'd look you right in the eye and he'd be like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And you'd be like, "Pretty good." And the second you responded to him, he'd put his finger up and then touch the Bluetooth to his ear like he was on a phone call. It was just brilliant, right?
That sounds funny.
Just a brilliant
That's
costume.
funny.
I got to get something off my chest because we didn't have last week. And I'm glad it's subsequently subsided in the zeitgeist, but the Chiefs and the booing. Okay?
Yes.
Look, I'm there. First of all, Chiefs did a great job. If you watch a K-State game, everybody's flooding down to the bunching up, And I'm not trying to call K-State out. I'm just saying.
Especially in the student section. It wasn't great.
Yeah, and look, I call KU out, but nobody goes to games. So, anyway, the Chiefs banded their seats together so that you had to stay in your seats, right? And they had people everywhere making sure you're in masks. They cut the stadium off in quarters so you could only get into your quarter of the stadium. They did a masterful job, okay? Wrangling a bunch of idiots that were out there like me to see the Chiefs. Look, when they were lining up in that line for the solidarity thing, what you didn't hear on TV is right before they came back, and I went back and watched the TV broadcast. Right before they came back, they said, "Please, observe a moment of silence for solidarity," or whatever. Well, we all got really quiet. Then they come back from TV. Then they come back from commercial,
Right.
On TV. Sorry, come back from commercial on TV. And you see Patrick Mahomes start to walk out and start to line up. And then on TV they say, a moment of silence for da-da-da-da. At this point, it's been 30 seconds that we're standing in the stands like, are we supposed to be quiet right now? Are we supposed to be talking? I mean, like, how long are we supposed to be quiet? Does the moment of silence start once they're lined up? And then, just about the time they get lined up, 5 or 6 Texans players come sauntering out of the tunnel, out of the locker room. And everybody starts booing them because that's what happens at Arrowhead. You boo the other team coming out of the tunnel. And those are the boos you heard. Those are the boos you heard. And I was so frustrated. I mean, I texted you and Petro, and I called you from the stadium. I was so frustrated because we heard it at halftime that there was a big deal. And I'm just telling you, man, Chiefs fans, they did it right. And I guess it doesn't matter. It's been long enough now. I won't talk about it anymore. But I had to just defend our honor a little bit because...
But I will say that people who were there in person, like Sam Mellinger,
I hear you.
They did feel like there was some actual booing with venom.
I tell you what, I'm not going to argue. Sam's great. Neither of them have any reason to lie. In my section, there was no booing. Literally none. Not even booing the Texans because we were on the opposite side where
I
they
guess
come out.
that what we'll have to see is that, people have agendas. There's no question about it. Both sides, whatever. And, although this a moment of respect, a moment of solidarity, to me, has no sides. But whatever. That's my little commentary on it. I guess we'll just have to wait to the next home game, see what they do, see what the reaction is. Maybe they will understand better the process, those fans. Maybe we'll still hear booing. I think the next time will be an interesting test.
I hear you, but this is no excuse. But I paid a lot of money to go to that game, and here's what I got. I got a banner that unveiled, and that was it. I got the same video you guys saw on TV. I got the same display on the field that you guys saw on TV, and bupkis. There's no ring ceremony. There's no hype. There wasn't even a hype video. There wasn't even a hype video showing the championship, the Super Bowl championship. There was no hype video. Man, I fall for hype videos that get me excited. You know what I mean? One of the best parts about going to a KU basketball game is the hype video. It makes me cry.
It's a damn
every
good
time,
hype video.
right?
It is a damn good hype video.
And there was no hype. There wasn't even a hype video. There's no flyover, which, by the way, I've always been against flyovers because it was a waste of my tax dollars. Did you know that it's not a waste because they use it as a training mission? This is what somebody told me. So they're doing
That's a fact check.
They're doing a fake bombing run over Arrowhead Stadium.
Wow. That's a subject for another day.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you got to vent. I'm glad you're headed to Austin.
Oh, yeah. What do I do in Austin while I'm there, buddy?
Well, this is an Austin story I haven't told. Real quick. We'll finish with this. So the night before the Super Bowl, my wife is feeling a little under the weather. And she wants to, have a nice Sunday. We're going to watch the Super Bowl. We're going to go see a little live music before.
Okay.
Whatever. So she says, why don't you it's like 5 o'clock. She says, why don't you just go down to 6th Street. I'll lay low and all good.
Perfect.
And so it's 5 o'clock. I get a cab. I go down to 6th Street. And this is the experience you can, have you been to Austin before?
No, never. Never.
Well, this is the kind of experience you can get. And you're willing to probably go from 5 o'clock till longer than I did. I went to 10 bars, no cover because it was earlier.
Okay.
I went pre-cover to all these bars.
Got it.
10 bars, 1 beer at each bar, quality music at each one.
Wow.
I mean, I would stay for the 1 beer, see the band. They might play 4 songs, move to the next one. And it was like, so by the time I was done, it was about 10.
Mm-hmm.
Old man goes home. And I never had paid a cover. I had paid for 10 beers at happy hour prices generally. I might have spent $50. And I got great live entertainment, beer, a quality evening.
Is this quality music like
all
cover band?
All kinds.
Are these
Their
just
own,
like I Love Rock and Roll cover band music? Or?
God, no.
Okay.
This is Austin, Texas.
Okay, well, people talk about the music in Nolens, and then they talk about Bourbon Street, and I'm like, that's just I Love Rock and Roll cover bands all down
No,
Bourbon Street.
this
It's not
is-
like that.
These are people who, this is like Nashville, Austin, are the two places where people go
To make it.
to make it. And so even if it is a band that will play half covers and half their own, they're trying to make it.
Got it.
And actually, the one on Sunday, the one band we saw was one of these sort of not tragic, that's too strong a word, but the kind of thing that I saw often when I went to Nashville for 5 years when my children lived there. We went and saw a band. We had a late lunch, and at the place we had the late lunch, we saw this band started playing at like 3.
Yeah, the afternoon
Super
show.
Bowl was at 5:30. Yeah. But still, there's a lot of people out because they're going to have a couple beers before they want to watch the Super Bowl. So this wasn't like a bad slot even for this band. A lot of people there. Anyway, these guys looked like they were 35, 40 years old.
Okay.
And they were great. And the lead singer, and they were playing all their own music. And the lead singer probably was the songwriter or whatever. Mm-hmm. They'd probably been there for a while. And this guy was a hopeless drunk. But he was still good. But you could see that he had gone to Austin to become famous. And in his mind, probably on that day, he's playing in the middle of the afternoon and not feeling so great about life, but still did a bang-up job as an outstanding front man while drinking shots of tequila. He couldn't have made it till 9 o'clock that night. No way. But so you'll see that. Now, I've heard, the thing I'll be interested about it, I've heard that Austin has exploded so much in the last decade that it's become unwieldy.
Yeah.
I hope you're staying right down in Austin.
Well, they are in Austin proper where their house is.
But getting to downtown now
I've heard is
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to take a cab even, it's going to take forever.
Well, they have, fortunately, our friends we're going to visit have an extra vehicle. And so we get to drive their Jeep around while we're down there.
Well,
but
Mark and Liz
driving offer that.
At any time there, the town was built for 100,000 people, and there's 2 million.
Yeah. Well, we're going to kayak through downtown. That's one of the things we're going to do.
And go to...
it's one of our things. We're going to do a lot of hiking. We love to hike, so I'm going to do some hiking through some state parks.
I think it's called... It's So something. There's a south portion, SoCo or So Low or something. That's pretty cool. You should do that. That's like an afternoon thing. There's a lot of art stuff there.
Well, we're going to be doing some exploring.
Food trucks, stuff like that.
I'm going to fill up on tacos and tequila. And
you'll have a fantastic.
I'm going to unplug from work, get a change of scenery, and we're being COVID responsible. These are our friends that we both work from home, right? They were our neighbors. They were our part of our 10-person COVID unit back a few months ago, and they still lived here, So we're doing everything we can to get out of town and still be responsible. And I just can't wait.
I can't wait. And that will be a great jumping off point on the next Thirsty Thursday. Salute!
Salute!
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like
NoNonsenseHealthcareNinja.com, specializing in expert healthcare guidance and assistance for you.